So recently I was lucky enough to get my hands on a copy of Dragon Quest Builders, which is an RPG in the traditional fashion of older Dragon Quest games, but has the new addition of a crafting and building mechanic. The most common theme that I'm seeing here is that it's like Minecraft, but it's got a nice story element to it, which honestly sounded like a great idea to me, and so far it has been. To put it bluntly, the game has oodles of charm to it. As someone who never played any of the other series titles, I actually really enjoyed my time with this particular one, and the game did a really good job of bringing me in as a new fan. It was short but sweet. That's the best way I can put that. The story itself seems pretty straightforward. I'm going to be a little vague about it because the story is actually really interesting. I recommend you go ahead and play it to get the full effect from that. You're the last person who has a knowledge of this art of building. It was taken from people all across the land by a dark force, and now nobody knows how to build things anymore. Now you yourself have to use this knowledge to build a safe haven for any people you come across, and also teach them the art of building, because it is a long forgotten skill that, well, like I said, nobody has anymore. Your main objective is to rebuild their lost city back to its former glory, and a big part of that is actually building workshops. As the more you play and the more time you spend around these NPCs, they begin to learn how to build again over time, and they can work in the workshops while you're off doing your own thing, and they'll store your items that they've built for you at the chest, or in the chest in the room at the end of the day. Now, the base building aspect itself is very well done. You have a base level. You start at level 1. You can level up by building more rooms in your base, and the workshops do count for that as well as the other blueprints you can find. Now, the basic rooms have a set structure. They can be as large as you want, at least from what I've seen so far, but they must have 2 beds, a light source, and a door to count as a room. Once you have one built, NPCs will treat it as a bedroom where they sleep. The workshops have a similar layout, except you've got a few different items in there, like a chest and a bonfire as opposed to torches, and they'll spend their days building in there and placing items in the chest like I mentioned previously. Now, along your journey, you can collect those blueprints, and they have new rooms. Now, you can get these blueprints by completing quests, getting them from the NPCs. You can even find some in the world by killing larger monsters, and in turn, you are able to build up your base level even higher and craft even more rare items to explore the world further. Now, while the building aspect and the story are very interesting and fun, I actually thought that the combat was a bit stale, at least at first. All it seems to be really in the early hours of the game, you hit enemies and retreat until you're free to hit again, or you just trade blows until one of you dies. Now that can get stale at times. Now the boss fights were fun. There was one particular boss fight where I had to put up walls as he was attacking the city because he was throwing boulders at it, and then I had to place bombs at his feet to knock him down. So boss fights, great. Basic mobs, not too much. There does seem to be some better equipment as you go, like swords, shields, so it seems like there's a bit more to the combat as time goes on. It wasn't enough to keep me from enjoying the game, however. It's strangely addictive and has more than enough content to keep going for a few hours at a time. And even the visuals are surprisingly stunning. The visuals have a bit of a graphic novel style to them, kind of like The Walking Dead, but they're also very crisp and put some AAA titles with realistic graphics to shame. Now, honestly, I'm really glad I tried this game on a whim. I had no idea about a lot of the Dragon Quest storyline. I did have a buddy of mine come in because he's a big fan of it, and he also agrees that this game is a good addition to the series. So, I mean, if you're a fan of the series already, I think you should give Dragon Quest Builders a try. The art style is great. Gameplay is both fun and exciting, with the exception of the stale at times combat system. And even if you haven't played those games before, like the older Dragon Quest games, you may find similar traits from the famous Legend of Zelda franchise, like I did. You wake up in a cave, and some strange voice is telling you to save the world. It kind of got me there with that, but hey, that's just me. Either way, I did really enjoy it, and I think a lot of people will as well.